everybody. We're live. Welcome
Hello.
into Flippin Hippos YouTube channel. I have with me my friend Jennifer from Cactus Blossom Resale. That's hard to say.
You did it.
Blossom.
Yeah.
Cactus Blossom Resale. And Laura's here already. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. So while we wait for... That's me.
Okay.
Amateur mistake. I had the YouTube open and didn't mute it because I'm a professional. This is what I do for a living. So while we wait for some more folks to come in, Robin's here. Hi, Robin. Welcome in.
Robin.
Thank you for coming. We'll just kind of riff for a minute while we wait for folks to come in. I'll tell everyone the story of how we met. So right before Liz Perfectly's camp event, Jennifer heard that I was holding an impromptu bullet journal teaching lesson thingy in the lobby. And I barely knew Jennifer. And she sent me a message. She's like, hey, can I come? And then just like spin off of that and do a class on organization. And I was like, more the merrier. And that's how we met. And so we met in the lobby and we shared stickers and bullet journals, and Brian was there. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
So we met through Liz Perfectly. I think that seems to be a common theme on this channel, guys. A lot of my friends I've met through Liz Perfectly. There's other ways to meet people in the reselling community, and I always encourage it. You guys should be part of the community in some way. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. But most of my friends come from Liz Perfectly because that's where I'm most active in the community. Jennifer and I do listing parties. You want to tell them a little bit about yours?
Yes, I do a listing party. It's called Squirrel, and that came from when we were at Camp Listing Party. I did, like she said, the spinoff of her bullet journal. I didn't know what to call it, and I said, well, when you're distracted and here and there, and squirrel, I can't keep track of things. And so everyone started saying squirrel when they saw me. She did squirrel. And I was like, okay. Listing party came up and they're like, you can start one. And I said, I'll call it Squirrel. We'll talk about ADHD and all that. So that's what I do now.
So what day of the week is that?
It is Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific. It's called Squirrel, and it's on Listing Party, which is part of List Perfectly.
Right. So if you have any subscription to List Perfectly, you have access to the listing parties. Mm-hmm. I do a crafting one Wednesdays at 8 p.m., true crime at 3 p.m. on Friday, and Jennifer's is Tuesdays at 9 a.m. And it's not just for people with ADHD. I've never been to one of yours. Unfortunately, it's conflicting scheduling time for me, but I hear good things. You talk about how to cope with ADHD and OCD, and we're going to get into that later in the show. So I want to know how you became a reseller.
Okay, so my ex-husband was selling stuff. He always liked to sell. We had friends. We would trade and sell things. Then he started this eBay, and I was like, what is that? I heard of it. It's called auction something, right? Mm-hmm. But then it became eBay. This was in 2000. And so I bought something, and I was like, I can sell. I sold a Scum Buster by Black & Decker. And I bought an iced tea maker, which is funny because that's one of my biggest sellers now. Then the big thing I was doing was my kids' clothes. I would sell that and my maternity clothes like a year or two later. And it kind of went from there. It was kind of on and off, but really started out wanting to make extra money and have all those kids' clothes. And it was selling like hotcakes back in the auction days in 2001. Yeah.
You do this full time?
I can't say full-time because I am a full-time caregiver for my daughter. So I have to work around that, which is, it's fine, but I'm so glad I can do this. Right now, I can say I'm part-time.
I think you're full-time. I think you do both full-time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of things do you sell?
Well, like I said, I like the iced tea makers. I kind of like small appliances a lot since, I like using them. I do like something that makes my life easier, and a lot of
Mhm.
appliances do that, but I will find them. Sometimes people can't get certain ones anymore. I like to sell those. I do like selling plush. I have some. Kind of sell everything. I'm trying to niche down. Now I can't think of anything. I like books. Um, a lot of, I don't know, I kind of gravitate towards those appliances. And books, I think, are my favorites.
Okay. We got a couple more people in here, so we're going to take a break real quick because we got to look at Punxsutawney Phil. I already told Jennifer about this. So today is February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day. And if you're not in the know, Punxsutawney Phil is a groundhog in Pennsylvania, where I live. And it's a really big deal here. People gather at 3 a.m, like on this in this area before the stage. They have fireworks, and then they bring the groundhog out. So he did see his shadow. We're gonna have an early spring, but I just want you guys to see Punxsutawney Phil when they bring him out. We'll make him big, and we'll just watch him for a couple of seconds. He's really cute. He's a rodent.
We know how you love rodents.
I love rodents. Okay, wait. It's like right when they bring him out. It's so cute.
Oh.
They yell. They like yell. I can't get the timing right, so we'll just. It's Punxsutawney Phil.
He's good.
And then they like put him on this table, right? And he just sits there.
Poor guy.
And they're trying to, like, all these men in their Puritan pilgrim hats. They just watch him to see what he's going to do and if he sees his shadow. I mean, it's just like this big deal. Isn't he cute?
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know. He turned his head, like that meant something. Is that when he saw it?
Yes, they have a decision. I mean, this is a really big deal in Pennsylvania. You can see they dress in old-timey clothes. They have like the 2 different decisions on these old parchment papers. See how he's unrolling it?
Oh my gosh. He looks like that actor. Is that him?
The Sears. They go into this whole like story and read this scroll in like old English.
Looked like he was looking at him at one point, paying attention.
Look at him now. He's so cute. Okay, I will not subject you guys to Punxsutawney Phil anymore, but he's just so precious. And it's like this really big deal. It's hear ye, and
that's cool.
Hey, Christy's here. Welcome in. So happy Groundhog Day, everybody. I'll probably watch the movie tonight.
Oh yeah, I love
it.
it.
We have the Bee Cave Armadillo in Texas. So let's get back to Bug and Jennifer with some questions. If you guys have questions for her, you can put them in the chat. She does know about small appliances. I don't, so you're never going to hear about that again on this channel. You said your favorite thing to sell is books. What platforms do you sell on?
Oh boy. eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, Etsy, Depop, and Grail. So I do sell some clothes. I don't think I left anything out. I'm selling more, well, a lot of ball caps too, and they're just hats, not all baseball. I left this out. I like vintage stuff. So it's kind of everything. But if I see some cool vintage toys, plush, appliances, I'll grab those.
What's your favorite platform?
Poshmark.
Poshmark.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to know why?
Yeah, I do. I'm like, that's surprising. I want to know why. Because appliances, right. You don't think of Poshmark.
They sell on Poshmark. Okay, so you list it and it sells. No, just kidding. It's really easy to list. There's only a few fields that you fill out. And when they buy it, that's it. They can't return it unless it's like not described well. But hi, Crystal. It's really cut and dry with them. And also they charge 20% and that's it. You don't have to have all these different fees and stuff. But it seems really simple and everything is sent priority mail. So you can get all the flat rate boxes. And with eBay, the hardest thing is the shipping that new sellers will end up losing a lot of money on. And this takes it out of the equation. So it just seems a lot more cut and dry, and things like appliances you wouldn't think, but they do have a home section and kitchen and even electronics now.
Yes, we sell remote controls on there. We have for a couple years. I like Poshmark. I just wish it could get the volume that I get on eBay.
Yes.
I'd probably like Poshmark for all the reasons you said, but as far as getting the volume, it's still eBay. I think it's just because it's global. I mean, and how many times have you read a book or watched a TV show and they mention eBay? Like everybody knows eBay. If I could get the volume on Poshmark and I like Macari a lot too.
Mm-hmm. Well, on eBay, I do sell a lot of appliances. And so they'll sell them both equally. And now Etsy is starting to come up too.
Oh, I'm such a nerd. Hi, guys. So this morning, that reminded me, and Jennifer's already heard the story. It's been really cold here because it's Pennsylvania, right? And so I wasn't putting the food out for all my animals on the deck. If you are new here, you haven't heard, I feed all the wildlife in Western PA. And yesterday morning, I opened up the curtains downstairs to give some sunlight to the hamster, and there's a squirrel sitting at the window, just looking in. I'm like, oh my gosh, because it's warm here, right? It's 40 degrees, so for us, that's unseasonably warm, and I think the animals are getting confused. And here's the squirrel, and he's just sitting at the like. Is this where the food comes from? He's looking in the window. Like, I want some food, lady. Jennifer likes squirrels, so I had to tell her that story.
Yeah.
She loves squirrels.
I lost the video. I don't know where it went.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm like, I'm just rodent.
I just threw you off. Oh, let me see if it went to the other.
And I give you that little squirrel's face. So I want to know if you have a setup for your photography.
I do. I have the ring light you might see there. I have a little table right now, but it's not my favorite. I've changed it so many times. I've had it on the floor and against the wall. I first started out on a big formal table, and I would have to stand on a chair really tall over it, and that didn't last. And I did buy a double ring light that I have here. It's lighting. I overthink it, but right now I try to list the smaller stuff like in a light box on the table and make it more simple. If I have clothes, I have a command hook on the wall. So that's about it.
So I was just about to real quick talk about List Perfectly's background remover. It's so great that I can just literally throw my clothes on a command hook and they look like they're on a background. And I'm going to show you some real quick. So I don't have any kind of setup, Jennifer. I don't have a ring light. I don't have a box. I throw my stuff on this white table and just take the pictures. But with List Perfectly's background removal, I mean, they come out. I always forget you have to edit if you want to look at it. They come out like I had them in a. See? And that's just like on the table. We used to have a very elaborate setup. Like I mean, we used to have like the 2 poles and the paper and the 2 big lights that came in. Yeah. It took half an hour to set up and tear down, and I cannot express how exciting List Perfectly's background remover is because it makes life easy.
I do. I love that.
Do you have, so you don't have a mannequin? Do you use your phone for photographs?
I do use my phone. I got an iPhone. I believe it's a 13, and it works really good for it. I wish it had better lighting, but I think that's just a problem for everybody. But that's a good phone. I had an iPhone 11 before, and that worked fine too. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Do you take them straight into List Perfectly in the catalog?
No, it depends. Sometimes I take them straight into List Perfectly, but then I find that I just do too much editing on them. I overthink it, but sometimes I'll take it in my phone and then do editing, or use photo room or something like that. But usually, I don't know. I was taking it into List Perfectly, and it's a lot faster that way.
It is. By the way, if you're not using List Perfectly, you should be. You can get 30% off your first month with code flippinhippos. Sounds like a commercial with code flippinhippos. So they're still recommending that your backgrounds be white for Google. So when Google's bots like crawl over eBay and Poshmark, they're saying anything with white backgrounds gets preferential treatment for the search algorithm on Google. But I know a lot of folks who are using different backgrounds now. The Photo Room app has like beaches and all kinds of things you can put in. You know, Dawn's pictures, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they still sell stuff just fine. I just, as a personal preference, I think the white backgrounds look professional and streamlined and like a big box store, and that's how I want to look.
Yeah.
So
what's your opinion? Well, for some things, like the fancier things, I have these rocks. I will use a fancier background. It's for something like Etsy. It'll like be sitting on a table or a shelf, somewhere where it would normally be. So I feel like on Etsy, it gives it a little more life. But for other things, yeah, but then the rest will have the white background. Because, the Google thing, it's like sometimes I'm wondering if it's still like that, but they are saying it is. So now I'm thinking maybe I should have more with the white background, but it does make it easier just to see the product when it's just a plain background like that.
Yeah. It just makes me feel like I'm a professional store, like Walmart or Target or anywhere else you're going to go online. I look like them. So I like it, but you still have to figure out what works for you, because it doesn't matter what the experts say. The experts say you shouldn't delist and relist, and I will die on that hill that you should be delisting and relisting, because when I stopped doing it, my sales tanked.
Yeah, it bumps you up, right? Because the new ones are at the top.
Yes.
That's why.
And
right? Sorry.
When you're a clothing seller or a plush seller, things are very long tail. When they sit for 6 months, you're not going to tell me they're not getting pushed down the algorithm.
Yeah, I heard on Mercari it does. Like the new ones show.
Yeah, well, and also the way their offer system is. If you're not familiar, so like on Poshmark, I like their offer system. If Jennifer likes my item today, I can send Jennifer a 10% off offer. If Keith likes it tomorrow, I can send him a 10% off, and Jennifer doesn't see it, and Keith gets 10%. The way Mercari works, every single time you send an offer, it has to be 10% lower. So if Jennifer likes my stuff today, she gets the 10% off. But if Keith likes it tomorrow, I have to send him 20%. So I always wait on there until I have like 3 or 4 likers before I'll send an offer. But you want to be refreshing your stuff so you're not running to the bottom with your offers. Poshmark gives preferential treatment to new stuff, just shared or just listed. So that's a long way around to say I prefer white backgrounds, but you have to find out what works for you. And if you're selling video games and like high volume stuff that moves really quickly, you probably don't need to delist, relist.
Right.
You just have to find out what works for you. Hey, Kristen. So I mean,
sorry.
I was going to say the experts are going to tell you what they want to tell you, and I'm an expert, but I always just tell people, experiment, figure out what works for your store, because everybody's different.
Yeah, I find I need to do that. But in the beginning, I would see the white background and I would try to emulate that without Photo Room. I was like, how are they getting this? I had no idea. And sometimes I would take something that has color like this and just use bright and contrast, and it would disappear. I'm like, they must be doing that. I had no idea there was background remover. But talking about offers, that reminded me of Poshmark. They have closet clear out, and they will only do that for the lowest you have offered. You have to go 10% below that. So I think that's a great reason to relist, like to take it completely down and put it back up. And I've done that, excuse me, because that's the only way you can really raise your prices.
Yeah. And you shouldn't be doing it like all the time. I'm saying you shouldn't do something, but I think that people who are delisting, relisting items that are like a month old, you're probably not letting it stew in its own juices long enough, so to speak.
Yeah.
I make sure things are at least 6 months old. We have almost 3,000 listings, and we only delist, relist 10 items a day. So by the time I work my way back around, stuff's over a year old. So it's really old stuff that we do it with. You know, 10 a day, 3,000 listings. I'm doing 300 a year. Or learn how to math. And
I'm like, yeah.
it's taking me 300 days to go through my almost a year. Yeah.
Okay.
To go
Yeah.
through my goal.
Yeah.
And I sorted on List Perfectly. So here's another plug for that. You can go in your catalog and you can sort it by last updated, and you can see your oldest stuff. But I recommend waiting 3 to 6 months at least. Mine's way older by the time I get to it. I don't spend a lot of time, just 10 a day.
Well, I forget that I've been on there for 23 years, you know, on eBay and Poshmark for like 10. And there's a lot of really new people. So yeah, we're not talking about doing this after a few weeks.
Yeah. Don't let it stew for a while. And it does take 30 days for Google bots to crawl and get you. So there's a month right there. Then you want it to sit for a month. Like, you just want it to sit.
Yeah, I have stuff. A couple years old. I hate to say how long, but you know, with Plush and stuff, they can be on there quite a while.
I just sold a pair of shorts yesterday that I've had for 6 years.
Okay, now I don't feel bad.
I paid 99 cents for them. I have a whole first floor for my inventory here. I can wait. I'm a volume seller.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to throw it out. Then something sells that's 4 years old. So it's fine.
Yeah. They were 50% off. So I'm like clearancing some things out. But if I've already put the effort and the work in to photograph it and list it, honey, that could sit for 10 years.
Right. And I don't know. It's hard to give it away. You're like, spent so much time with this.
Yeah, it's not that I'm married to my inventory. People say don't get married to your inventory. I'm not. I'm married to the work I put in.
Yes.
I paid 99 cents for something and it's taking up one slot in a bin, and I have the storage space here.
Yeah, you're right. If I have bigger things, I am less attached to them because they're taking up so much space, and that space is money, you know?
Yes, exactly. So Crystal asked, do you sell a lot of clothing on Mercari? You can answer first.
I sell less clothing on Mercari. I sell more things like toys. Seems like there's a genre there, or like a generation. It seems like it's more kids and younger people, more Gen Z, in my opinion, on Mercari. So a lot of stuff they like. I don't have a lot of clothing that they would like, I think. But I don't sell a lot. Like, I know you list a ton of clothing, Crystal. So of course you would sell more. But no, I feel like I sell makeup things and toys and things like that.
So I do. Not as much as eBay. It's the same with the Poshmark problem. My volume on eBay is such that I will always be stuck in a love-hate, want to divorce you, but I'm still married to you with eBay.
I get it.
But I do sell a lot of jeans on Mercari. A lot of jeans. And it could be the sheer volume. Like, Crystal has a lot of clothes. It could be because I have 800 pairs of jeans listed, but I sell a lot. And what I like about selling on Mercari, if you're doing free shipping, you're not locking yourself. Now, I do mix of both. But like on jeans that weigh over a pound, I just build it into the cost on Mercari because they don't have flat rate. And I'm not charging, nobody wants to pay $13 for jeans, right?
Right.
So, but you're not locked into choosing priority or ground. Like on eBay, if you promise priority to your buyer, and ground is cheaper, you still have to send it priority because that's what you promised and you can't downgrade. But Mercari, you didn't promise. You just said, I'm going to ship them to you for free. So they pay $20 for their American Eagles. I go to Pirate Ship. Oh my gosh, it's going to cost $5 to ship. And I built $10 into the price. Win.
Love Pirate Ship. That's what I do with stuff like that on Mercari because their shipping can be really crazy. And especially if you get a box bigger than this. Get a box bigger than this, suddenly it's like $10,000. You know, it just not that much, but you know, it goes up really fast, and you know it doesn't cost that much. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I do free shipping on there for like everything that's under a pound, except for like plushies, because if if it's going to be $13 to ship the plushie, it's a $30 plushie. I can just put it up for 23, and they'll.
Yeah.
I guess it works out. I don't know. We're still experimenting. We just switched to charging shipping after FlipCon last year, so we're still.
Oh.
We did it free for 7 years. Not free. It's never free, but.
Right.
But to answer the question, I do sell a lot of jeans on Mercari. That's mostly the clothing I sell is jeans.
Yeah, I don't sell jeans, so I can't say that. I might have one pair in my closet. I mean, online closet. I'm talking Poshmark words. Sorry. Store.
That's fine. Closet, store, all the same. It's interchangeable. How do you feel about offers? Do you send them out on all the platforms?
I do. I'm not very consistent with it. I'll be in, one of the mastermind meetings on this perfectly, and it'll be like, send offers. I do it daily. I'm like, oh, I need to send off. It's like I forgot they even existed. It's an ADHD thing. But yeah, Poshmark more often, but I do have a bot that does that. But it does. It's yeah. As soon as I get a liker, it'll send a 10% off and a little break on shipping. But Mercari, I forget. But then, I got to be careful with those offers. eBay, I don't do as often because I feel like they're sending me a lot of offers and I'm selling. I look and a lot of my sales are offers. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little slower because it seems like they want to make an offer, so they'll counter it and it just gets lower and lower.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it when they work out.
So that's funny you said that you forget because you have ADHD and I have OCD. Polar opposites. I check like every half hour to see if I can send. I'm not kidding. Like I'll list 10 items or I'll do like an hour of photography or whatever I'm working on that day. Mm-hmm. And then I'm checking again. Are there any I can send? It's like this constant obsession.
Well, maybe you can like send me a message and be like, it's time to send offers.
It's almost like an internal clock. Like once an hour I'm checking. I even remember on my days off, it's just this obsession. And I know it's because I have OCD, but it's also, I have this mentality of strike while the iron's hot. If they just looked at your item and they just liked it, they're more likely to impulse buy it. If they get a discount psychologically, they just were looking at it. Now you're offering them a deal. Crystal's like me.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I have OCD people in my home, so I get it. And it's so great when it's a clean OCD, but yeah, but you have something that's nagging at you and you have to do it. So sending offers, that's a very productive.
That's a good obsession to have.
Yes.
But I'm like constantly like, I have to check. And I think it works well. Like you have the bot for Poshmark. Mm-hmm. If somebody looks at something and you send them an offer tomorrow, they're not as excited or as interested as just now looking at it.
Right.
So strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, like 20 minutes. And I don't know if I should even make it. Some people made it like 10. So I don't know.
Dawn has this set for 5.
Oh, yeah. So they just, I might think about
it. And I get real excited sometimes. Like when I go to check my Poshmark, I'll see they just liked it a minute ago. And I'm like, ooh, it's a thrill. Yeah. And those are usually the ones I actually get the sale on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I should make it faster. I'll try that.
I'm eating my hair today.
I do that a lot. It's a food group now.
It's a food group. So how many items do you list a day? Do you have like a certain goal every day? Do you try to do the same amount per day?
Okay, my goal is 10. But if I get 1 or 5, I have done listings. This is part of me not beating myself up and staying productive. So, but if I do 10 a day all week, it's great. But I also have a chronic illness. So if that kicks in or my daughter needs me, my daughter has autism, and she's in college. But, on good days, I can do the 10. I don't know if it all gets put in the inventory, but they can get listed.
That's good. And your husband, he's a UPS driver, right?
No, he works in the corporate office.
Why do I feel like he was a UPS driver?
No, oh he works at U-Haul. I used to work for UPS, but
See, I got the two confused because I know UPS came up at Camp Lives Perfectly.
okay.
So he works full-time outside of the house, and you do this and take care of your daughter.
Yeah, she lives at college right now, but it's like half an hour from the house.
And 2 cats and a dog.
Yeah.
Busy life.
Yeah, they're all her animals, but they're here.
Well, they can't go to college. I mean, maybe they want to go to college. Like that picture I showed you of the rabbit today.
Last semester, her roommate had a cat. It was a nightmare, but it was a kitten. That place, they got in trouble for it being messy. The cat was a terror. But you can have animals, but it's just a lot of work, and they have to keep the place really clean. So that's difficult.
Yeah. So we're gonna stray off the track of reselling for a little bit to talk about some other stuff. Everyone on this channel knows that I am type A personality, OCD, and probably to the point where it gets in my way. It's not cute. It's not fun. I have very, very strict routines, and they're rigid. And if something happens in my day that isn't in order, it can throw me off for the whole day and cause anxiety. And you guys know that about me. And you've heard so many times, and you've seen my bullet journal, and you see how I cope and how I deal with it. But on the other hand, Jennifer's the complete opposite. So this is a good chance for my viewers to hear how someone on the opposite end of the spectrum stays motivated and focused and keeps track of things. So I do want to ask you, how do you keep yourself motivated?
Well, I have to stay very positive. If something happens, it's taken 50 years. I can't say that long. Quite a long time in my adult life to not spiral when I forget something or something goes wrong. If I feel like it was my fault, staying very positive and just getting productive really quickly and coming out of it. So I do write things down. I find I have to write it down and have it where I am to remember things I'm doing that day. Because like I said, I forget that I can send offers. I forget some things exist if they're not in front of me. It's like out of sight, out of mind. But really being very positive. If I get something done, I will write that down. Even if it's not on my to-do list, it's on my to-done list, meaning I did all these things. So I'm not saying, oh, I didn't get anything done, and that starts. And then I feel like I'm not getting stuff done. I can't get things done. It gets in a negative spiral. Then I don't get things done. So I really have to keep it positive and have grace with myself, but also come up with ways that I can stay on track.
So do you reward yourself for tasks done? Or is that an OCD thing?
I can't wait till it's done.
Well, I like tell myself if I finish this stack of jeans, I get 15 minutes on Facebook. Or if I get to a certain point before lunch, I can take a longer lunch and read a book while I read.
I try that. And a lot of people say that. I feel such an accomplishment because it's really hard for me to get through a whole 10 listings and not get distracted or have something come up. But really, honestly, I get distracted. So if I can get through those 10 listings, I feel great. I've probably rewarded myself yesterday or along the way. It's like I can't wait for it. But yeah, if I get it done, I feel like a rock star because it is a real task to get through and get it done.
Yeah, I can't imagine because I get hyper focused. So opposite of being distracted, I get too focused on what I'm doing. And if I'm cross posting and I'm into it, I think you could probably come in my house and steal things and I wouldn't even know because I'm ooh, I'm into it. And your to-done list, I've already mentioned that on this channel before, and I did credit you. But Jennifer is the one I was talking about before, guys, when I mentioned the to-done list. It's a very positive reinforcement, and I think it works for me because I have so much stuff on my to-do list because I'm anal. Let's just be honest about it. And sometimes I have to look back and say, okay, I did all this. But then there's days where I don't write anything down, and maybe I should have written. if I have stuff I need to do, it's a long list that day. But on Tuesday, I was just doing cross posting and photos. But I probably should have wrote cross posting and photos so that I could see that I don't have a day where I did nothing.
Right. Yeah. That, like mine, I'll have things to do, and not all of these things are marked off, so they can come down here, stars show. But I'll also, in different colors. Red is like, you need to do this, and those things have to get done.
Yeah,
But
I did my
also,
garden sale yesterday, and it's in red.
Yeah. And I should have written it down. I did things like the cat litter, stuff like that. I usually would write that in and be like, look, I did get this done. I forgot about it and then went, oh my gosh, I'm having company. I better do that. But I got it done. For ADHD people, being in a crisis mode will make you do things. That's a hyper.
For us, when we crisis mode, it's because something went out of routine and now I have anxiety and I can't. It's really hard to go back to it. If everything goes perfect in a day, I can get a lot done. But if you want me to do something out of order, or you ask me to do something that was not planned, oh goodness, do not call me up the night before you want me to go to lunch with you. I will freak out, like anxiety.
Yes.
You gotta give me like 2 weeks notice so I can be like, okay, that's the day I gotta go out in public and go to lunch. It's ridiculous how opposite it is, because when we're having anxiety, and I say we, like, I'm sure all OCD people are different, but Keith and I are very similar in ours. You can't, because I was supposed to do this, and then this. And now if this happened before these two happened, I can't go back to this because now I got to go to the next.
I live with someone who, it runs in this family. I'll say that. Very much in a routine, but I need that. He's very routine, but I can't change it. And we'll do this, like the beginning of the week, he'll tell me and I'll be like, do this. And it's like,
it freaks out. Yeah. No, but if you give us notice, we're fine. If you tell me, next Wednesday, I want to go to lunch, I can prepare. And Keith is the same way. You cannot ask us to do anything without proper notice. And his grandparents know. They're so funny because we go to their house for dinner every Sunday. And whenever they want to go out to eat, they ask us. They're like, now we're giving y'all a month notice. You and Keith, in a month from now, can we go out to dinner instead of eating here? It's so funny.
Well, that's great when family can recognize that, because, it means a lot, and not to be like, oh, you're fine. It's like, well, no, you work with me and this can be a lot more pleasant. And it's nice when they recognize it.
Yeah, because they're not putting more stressors on you and they're not making you feel. I don't like to feel apologetic or like I have to explain myself. This is who I am. I was diagnosed in high school. I'm 45. I've lived with this, with the insomnia, the OCD, the anxiety. I've lived with it for years. Yeah. And I have found ways to cope, but I don't like when people make me feel less than or like I have to explain myself, because I know who I am. And if you don't like it,
hit the
there's the door. I was going to say something else. Oh, did you hear about the Walmart? Were you in the listing party Wednesday?
Yes.
Y'all want to see a person with OCD freak out and have an anxiety attack? My Walmart is this, and see, to quote unquote normal people, this sounds like, oh, it's just no big deal. Like, just deal with it. It's no big deal.
Yes, someone even said that. And I was like, no.
No, someone said that in the listing party and you saw me almost lose my mind. But
yeah, I
have my Walmart memorized in my head. I can see the aisles and the order the stuff goes in. And I menu plan for 2 weeks and I write a grocery list. And my list is written in the order I find the things in the store. And this is part of my disorder. I understand that. Not everyone does this.
That's a great way to do it, people. Just saying.
So they're rearranging the Walmart. Nothing's where it's supposed to be. Everything is in disorder. Everything is in chaos, and everything isn't even where it's going to be. Like, they're in the middle. No. So it's not where it should be. It's not where it's going to end up. It's on the floor. It's up here. It's over there. I couldn't find anything, and I had so much anxiety. And then I was telling people about it, and they're like, "You can't over it." I'm like, well, I would probably give my left leg to be a normal person who could walk into that chaos and go, oh, no big deal. They're just rearranging. I'll just keep shopping. I'd love to be that person, but that's.
I know I popped in right in the middle of that and I was like, no, wait a minute. No, I get it. You know, somewhat neurodiverse people, I completely get. It's my whole house and family and when there's certain things that have, it's like our brains work differently. No, it's not okay to rearrange the store and I walk in, I need to get in and out of there. I was listening to another podcast where you're shopping with a whole cart, you have an anxiety attack, I'm leaving that cart and I'm going home.
Sorry, the comment. You might have a hard time. I'll go in on a rascal. And one of those
those things.
The little righty thing, and I'll have a pokey stick, a grabby stick.
Yeah. You run some people down with that thing.
But yeah, no, people don't understand. And I dealt with that a lot in my life, and I'm sure you did. People, and before we really knew about ADHD and OCD and neurodivergency, that's hard to say too. Before we knew about that, like you and I are around the same age. When you were in school, they thought you were special needs. They thought you were that's not the word I wanted. The slow class. That's the rude way to say it, but that's what they used to call it.
Special ed.
Yeah, thank you. Special education. If you had ADHD, you were special ed. If you were like me, something was wrong with you. You were going to grow up to be a sociopath. And it's like, no, I just want you to shut up and let me do my work. Like, but yeah, before people knew about it, they,
huge stigma.
And then people with anxiety, which you also have, right?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People will look at us and go, just calm down. It's not a big deal. And it's like, it's not a big deal. And I really wish I wasn't feeling this way, but that makes it worse.
Yeah. It's to them. And I'm glad they don't have that. But if they were in my skin, they would be like, what's going on? Panic attacks are no joke.
And it's worse when it's great when people can understand you. It really is. Yes. Like Keith and I have very similar OCD traits, but his anxiety is a whole different level because he's got social anxiety, which is different from mine. But I can recognize when he's uncomfortable, the store is too crowded. I can see it and I can just look at him and go, you can go wait in the car. And he knows, I know, and he's having that permission to go freak out, but he doesn't have to do it in front of people.
Yeah.
And he can tell when things aren't going like at the Walmart. He was more okay with that than me. And he was like, well, just walk up and down and I'll help you look for everything. It's really great when you can compliment each other.
Yes. I was just thinking that's really good. That's how we are. One of us I'm strong socially, even though I have some social anxiety, but then he'll freeze up and I'm like, bleh. I might even say stuff I shouldn't say, but I will say stuff.
Running at the mouth.
Oh gosh, that night at camp listening party, we were talking. There was that guy, was he calling you Pittsburgh or something?
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, because they thought I was stealing.
No, he was bringing us stuff.
Yeah, I went to go get my driver's license so I could just put it to my room. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Keith and I were best friends for like 10 years, and we've been together for 10 years. So we have learned exactly, and we know what to say to each other to let each other know. Like, I have a tendency when I'm freaking out to just be a bitch. That's how I react. I get defensive. I get angry. I just want to
get irritable. Yeah.
Yeah. And he can say things to me in a certain way that lets me know he knows that's what I'm doing without causing an argument. And I feel like if he didn't know me as well or didn't understand anxiety because he has it too, he might be like, you're being a bitch, and then it would cause an argument.
Right. Yeah.
But he can just say something to me and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm acting out because I'm having anxiety. I need to just go somewhere else and just breathe.
That's really great. And I could say we've been together 26 years and same thing. But when you're complimenting each other, I mean, everyone should have that kind of respect. But yeah, it's great when you have that. Okay,
we're gonna look at some comments. So the first time I mentioned your to-done list, Jay was in the chat and she was like, oh my God, I love that. So this is Jennifer. This is who came up with the to-done list for all of us. And basically at the end of the day, at the end of the week, once a month, look at your planners, look at your lists and think back, what did I do that I don't have on here? Because you're going to feel more accomplished. And you know what? You can write down anything you want. You can write down, I made the bed today. I remembered to take my vitamins.
Yeah.
I'll clean the hamster's cage, whatever you want to do. Well, my hamster actually is litter box trained.
Oh, wow.
The new one I just got, I put a little thing of sand in there the day I brought her home, and she uses only that to potty. Nice.
Wow. We had a rat. That wasn't the case. I don't think. I didn't clean it. My daughter did. But can I share about these?
Yes, please. I love those.
Okay. Amazon. Everyone can get them. I used to use these. My old planner is not in here. I'm not sure what. I don't know where stuff is. That's a problem.
Yeah.
I would put these, like, I have these checklists now, but new planner. I would write down, yes, exactly. It's the same thing, different color. So cat litter, you know, whatever the thing was. And this helped me get over the mentality of not accomplishing things and feeling like garbage. So I would put it on a sticky, one of those stickies, and say, I'll get one here, I'll show you. If the cat litter, or that has to be done. Say I was supposed to do the laundry that day. It didn't get done. Well, that's something that can go to the next day. And then it might go, if it's something that has to be done that week, well, maybe I could do that the next day. But maybe red means it has to get done today. So I'd be able to categorize them. But I could move this, and I know which ones I can move. And there wasn't that pressure of, it's written in ink and I didn't do it and the world's over. Because that's how your brain works sometimes.
So I do the arrow version from the original bullet journal.
Mm-hmm.
So if it doesn't get crossed off, let me find an example because I know that I did not. Okay. So we were supposed to pull out our fridge and our oven last week to sweep them out behind, and we did not. So you see the little arrow?
Mm-hmm.
That just means it's basically the same thing. I just put the arrow and I put it on Thursday and look, got done. But I put it in red because now I've already put it off once.
That's right. Everyone, the red is always the urgent. Yes, do it now.
And that was because the cleaning system I do from Fly Lady, we were in the kitchen like 2 weeks ago. That was our zone. And we were putting that off because it's such a big task to pull out the fridge and the stove. So it's finally done. And we don't have to do it for another 6 months.
Mine was spice cabinet. See, this is Passionate Penny Pincher. And I put business stuff on this side. But it's like exercise didn't happen. Shower, make bed, start laundry. See where all these things I didn't check. You know, I think I did a lot of these. But you know what? I'm on this week. And so it's covered. And I forgot it existed. But I wrote some of these things here. Anyway, see, I'm getting all discombobulated.
You're fine. You're fine. You're talking about something you like.
Yeah, I really like this one because it does say things to do, like make menu plan this day, grocery shop, dust furniture. So it's like a Fly Lady thing where these have little tasks you can do every day. And if you do those, it's getting clean. But I think even without that, you can allow yourself to do that cleaning thing for 15 minutes and set a timer, right?
So my zones are broken down and I check mark them with pencil.
I love how you do those.
And if I don't get through this whole list this month when I'm in the kitchen, that's okay. Next month I'll go back and whatever didn't get checked off, I'll do those. And when they're all checked off, I can erase it and start over again. But I'm very forgiving of myself of these because this is the deep cleaning. Oh, nobody needs to clean their Keurig with vinegar every single month.
No.
You know, we run water through it a couple times a week. So this is just like the deep cleaning from the Fly Lady. And then we have certain things we do. I'm not an artist, but I really tried this year. Did you see my ugly bookshelf I drew?
Oh, I thought you had a different one.
No, this is in the bullet journal. I have you saw the graphic I made.
Oh, right.
I keep track of the books that I read in several places because I'm OCD and I like to read.
I saw one in my planner group. I should share it, but at least my books. I wrote books. The books I read for January. You want to see my books I read for January? Gosh, this is
somebody said, "I love you, planner girlies." I love to be a planner girly.
I was supposed to write. Oh, books I read this month. I read 5. I put the slight edge. That's the only one, but there were 5. Do you see all 5? No.
I used to keep just a list. See, that was last year, and then I decided to try to draw, and not a drawer.
I have Kindle Unlimited because it's digital. Like I don't have to try to remember it. But I want to do one of those. I even bought. Well,
so I guess this is a nice segue into reading.
Okay.
I advertised our show as being reselling and book talk, and we really talked, I think, a good bit about neurodivergency and how to deal with it. Maybe we should advertise that because people like to be. I'm not a mental health professional, but I can definitely tell you how I deal with my mental health issues, and I think that helps other people to hear how you deal with it.
That's what we do in the Squirrel, and Star has a coupon code for that. List Perfectly Listing Party. We talk a lot about neurodivergency. I even go into what experts say, and sometimes we talk about organization, and I want to start doing this publicly too on YouTube. We can do that. Star can be a guest.
I'll come on anytime. Just ask me. Give me 2 weeks notice. Give me some notice so I can put it into my strict, rigid schedule. But if I have notice, I'm fine. I'm going to attack some comments, and then we're going to talk about books.
Cool.
Christy's an ambivert. I can attest to that. I've met her at plenty of events. She's very outgoing, very social. You always seem comfortable in public.
Yeah.
But then again, so do I. And sometimes I'm in a social situation, and outwardly you guys think, oh, she's so sweet. And inside I'm dying. I just want to go home with my blanket and my books. I'm dying inside. I'm what they call an omnivert. I'm sometimes an intro and sometimes an extro.
Yeah, I feel like that a little bit. Christy you're a really great speaker though. So, but I get
don't put me on the spot. You're a great speaker though.
Exactly. Okay, my husband's like that. He'll write it out and give a speech, and my daughter does it too. You're like, whoa, because in a group, they're not just going to come up and start chatting and stuff. But such great speakers. So
I have to prep too, and the thing is, it takes me a long time to get back to normal. So when I go to these events, the amount of anxiety I have before I leave to go on the plane, I'm going to show you guys my packing list. It's the only thing that keeps me sane. It's on page 52. Hold on. It's on page 52. Such a nerd. But I literally have to write down everything I could possibly ever need. And then you can see this one has 2 different colors and check marks because I just reuse it. So when I went to camp, I highlighted in purple. Then when I went to FlipCon, it was pink. And then when I went to Open, I check marked. But I have this very extensive list, and I just copy it over in a new journal if I'm going to travel. But I mean, I have everything, makeup and personal.
Oh, yeah.
And then all the clothes. And how many? T-shirts times 5. So this actually helps calm me. This is like this whole routine that I do. I go through my list. I pack my bag whilst I watch Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
It's part of my. I love that movie. See? Hocus Pocus.
Oh, look at that! Cute, and it matches your shirt.
Hocus
Pocus.
Oh my God. But and then the amount of anxiety I have flying. I have to read a book. I'll admit, it could be 10 in the morning. I'm having a drink on the plane because, and then I have fun while I'm there. But when I get home from an event, it takes me like 3 months to decompress.
Yeah. Yeah. I go into a flare sometimes with fibromyalgia. But I'll tell you what helped me, what helps. I still have to do this. And I think it's from my childhood or something, but I have to know where I'm laying my head. I have to look. Like we're planning a vacation, I will look at every hotel. Well, because I'm at my back and I'm old, I have to make sure it has a good mattress. But I need to know what there is to do around there, what restaurant they have, everything until I feel comfortable. I have to know where I'm sleeping pretty much, or I will have so much anxiety. So
I get that.
Yeah, where we're going, the route, everything. And so I plan it. So I'm the planner.
I also have to look at what I'm eating. So if I'm going somewhere new, like let's say you invite me out to lunch in May. Let's say you say you're coming to Pittsburgh in May for my birthday. That's months away. You pick a restaurant. I'm already on the menu tonight. What am I going to eat?
Do that. Not just because I'm gluten intolerant. I need to plan.
I'm very food motivated.
Oh,
Very food motivated.
I love food.
Crystal and I have so much in common. It's so funny.
Yeah, I see.
Oh, okay. Well, we were going to look it up together with a screen share, but Christy did the work for us. Thank you. So we'll read these. An ambivert. Why can't I say ambivert? Someone who exhibits traits of both introversion and extroversion and can feel comfortable in social or solitary settings. An omnivert, on the other hand, fluctuates between introverted and extroverted behavior depending on the situation or mood, displaying a wider range of adaptability.
I think that's me.
Depending on the situation or mood.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it doesn't matter on the situation. If I'm in an introvert mood,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be there. I want to go home and read. And I'm perfectly fine in solitary. Like I can go to a restaurant by myself and eat. I can go to the movies by myself. But if I don't want to be alone, then I seek out. Just a link from Google. Well, I appreciate it because we were going to do it. But I think this is me because I'm whatever mood I'm in. But Jennifer, I do think that you can flip around depending on.
Yeah, and I don't like to leave the house. So, yeah, I do. I went to a basketball game last night, but I wasn't going to go by myself. I drug my husband there, and he usually doesn't because we get home late and he gets up at like 4. But my son couldn't go. I was like, "You're going because they're going to the championship."
We're gonna play a fun game. We're gonna count how many times Star has left the house in 2024.
0.
No, it's more than that. 1,
Okay.
2. 3.
Walmart.
Twice. And grocery shopping once. His grandparents twice.
Okay.
So 7 and 8 if you count the real quick trip out to get Lola, my hamster.
Yeah.
So 7, that's it.
In how long of a time?
Since the 1st of January.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know what mine is, but I've had to go to my in-laws to clean the house a few times. I should look. Oh, no. I have to go to the school, and I hate it. All those college, not to be mean, but it's a lot of people. I don't know them, but I have to go to do the work with my daughter and take her to the store or whatever, to the Walmart. I drive there, and I don't dread seeing her. I dread being out.
No, I mean, we go to his grandparents every Sunday for dinner, and I like to go to their house. I like them. I love them, actually. They're my family.
Yeah.
I love his grandparents. I like his aunt and his uncle. Sometimes they're there for dinner. We have a good time. But leading up to Sunday, I'm like, oh, I got to get up, get showered. All that stuff you got to do. I just don't. And like, because of COVID and because of winters being so harsh here, I have found so many ways to source big lots and wholesale and not leave the house. And then also I have, connections like Jay sold me all the Build-A-Bear clothes.
Oh, awesome.
I'm really spoiled. I really wish I could get my groceries. You know that whole story.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
I know. So the Super Walmart guys does not deliver to my house. We're too far away. It's the one that Keith and I drive to once a month and get stuff.
Oh.
We're too far away. So the Walmart, the Walmart that'll come here is not a Super Walmart. So I could have my groceries delivered if I only wanted canned goods, but
oh gosh,
I eat a salad every day for lunch. I have to have my fresh stuff. My hamster eats. She has to have fruits and vegetables too.
She needs hers.
She does. She's very food motivated too.
For us, it's the summer. I'm thinking, maybe I'll drop that Walmart delivery, but no, summer comes up, I'll be like, I'm not leaving the house.
Well, yeah,
you can't. You can. It's just really can be dangerous, just like the cold when it's below
It's
zero.
not comfortable, first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, listen, I own my own business and I work from home. So why would I spent 20 years of my life living here, going out in the snow and the ice, scraping my windows, brushing snow off my car, freezing my butt off, loading people in wheelchairs in the van and driving them somewhere. I don't have to do that anymore, so why would I?
Right. Yeah.
If I couldn't find inventory, I would have to go out thrifting, but I don't have to. That's just my philosophy. Like, we do this and work for ourselves for a reason. It's for that freedom.
Yeah.
If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. Period.
Right. Yeah. Well, honestly, I do stuff I have to do. And yeah, I want to do this. I love the reselling. I hope it never goes away. And it helps me where I can do something because I've other stuff going on, like illness and caretaking. And it's just amazing. And you can stay home a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably just like me, but I'd be fired. I can't stand up for longer than 5 minutes without being in excruciating pain. And sometimes I have to, but then I have to go take a 15-minute break on my heating pad.
Right.
You know, and there's days I also have chronic migraines that can get really bad, and I'll have to take like a whole day off to lay in a dark room. The amount of time I have to, not even like, I don't take a lot of whole entire days off, but nobody in the workforce is going to let you go every hour, lay on a heating pad for 15 minutes.
Right. That
or
was the problem. Yeah.
Let you call in for a migraine every time it rains, which that's my trigger.
Yes.
And it rains more here than it does in Seattle. And you have fibromyalgia, so I can only imagine that you have flare-ups and you have to rest and relax.
Yeah, I have flare-ups at that. With the ADHD, it makes it really tough to stay positive. And I have to do something on those days. Sometimes if I get out of bed and get dressed, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I get dressed and I'm in pajama pants. But anyway.
I live in pajama pants. I take
know.
a shower and put on clean ones in the morning. This is my uniform.
But I did shipping today. You know, it's like I do something and I'd be like, I did something. Because sometimes I have to be laying down or I just can't. But then if I push it and do it, then I'll be sick for longer.
Yes.
A big flare. So
if I start to feel like my back wants me to take a break and I'm like, shut up, and I keep going, I can end up in bed for 3 or 4 hours. So I'm on my pain pills on a heating pad.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just listen to my back, sit down, take a 10 or 15-minute break, I can go back to it. So this is my advice, guys. Listen to your body. It's telling you something. If you force yourself to do stuff, you're going to end up, it's just like, do you remember when you were a kid and you would get sick, but you would try to act like you were better so you go outside and play with your friends and you would end up sicker? You know, stay in bed till you're well. Rest when you don't feel well. Listen to your body and don't, like Jennifer says, give yourself grace.
I'm trying something new. Well, first I was trying to just push through and do the 10 things. Like, I'm going to sit here till it's done. I went into a big flare from that. I don't know why. It's like just photos and all that shouldn't do that, but it did. So I came up with, I will work for 30 minutes straight and then stand up and go work in that other death pile room for 15 minutes. I'm up, I'm physically moving. I could put on music and it gets your blood pumping. And I felt so good. I came back and I have more energy to work that other half hour. I could maybe go an hour, but I have to get up and physically do something and not just taking photos, just moving, but not just goofing off for 15 minutes. But I'm finding I can get a lot more done. And it has a lot to do with the chemicals in your body. You know, you get the dopamine going. We talk a lot about that in the squirrel.
Yeah, the dopamine.
So good stuff.
I stop every hour and just at least stand up and move my neck and do some stretches. This is funny. So I have a snack every day around 3 o'clock. And I go downstairs and it's when I'm allowed my 1 caffeine of the day. I have coffee in the morning and then I get 1 afternoon caffeine or I get a headache. Yes, I'm addicted to caffeine and that's how I know.
That's a sign.
But he either watches Star Trek: The Next Generation, or he listens to Weird Al music when he's working.
I love that.
So if he has his Weird Al on, he knows I'm coming down the stairs because I'm already dancing, right? And then I go in the kitchen and I'm doing my little dumb white girl moves.
Yeah.
He knows. He's like, I'm like, it's dance time. But that's like my favorite time of the day, like at 3 o'clock when I get to go down and dance. And if he's watching Star Trek, I'm still music in my head. And I'm just moving for like 10 or 15 minutes around the kitchen. I'm singing to the hamster. And then I come back up here and I could put another 2-3 hours of work in. I still get up every hour to move. Yeah. That's like my big break. Because at lunchtime I sit and read.
Yeah, that moving around is really good for you.
Bye, Christy.
Yeah, bye, Christy.
It is. It's really good for you. It doesn't matter what neurodivergency you have. You got to get up and move the blood. You got to get your adrenaline, your dopamine. And I recommend going outside, sitting on a porch for 10 minutes a day. Go for a walk.
Nature.
Because the sunshine, too, the vitamin D.
Yes. Also, your legs, even non-neurodivergence, you sitting for a long time can do bad things to the veins in your legs. So you want to get up and move around just even for that.
Yep. We kind of got sidetracked and never got around to the book talk.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to do book talk real quick and then the final 3 questions.
Okay.
So she reads on Kindle Unlimited and I use Libby. You wanted me to mention that.
Libby. Okay.
I'm going to type it out for you guys.
All right.
Libby. It's a free app and all you need is a library card. And you can do your research on Google. Certain cities will give you a library card even if you don't live there.
Phoenix
so
does that.
Yeah, you can get more than one. So I have Tampa and Pittsburgh. So if a book I really want to read has a 6-month wait list in Pittsburgh, it might only have a 2-week wait list in Tampa. So, but they have different checkout times. So like Pittsburgh's 21 days, Tampa's 14.
Okay.
But the reason I love it so much is because anywhere I go, I've got a book to read. I've got a friend. I've got adventure.
I love that.
Right
Yeah.
I got a book with me everywhere I go. I could be in a line at Walmart for 20 minutes and I'm reading a book, right? Doctor's office, read a book. Keith's driving, I'm reading. And then I don't disturb him because I have really bad insomnia and I wake up at weird 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I can just roll over and have the light dim and read, and I'm not getting up and turning on the light, or even worse, getting up and going downstairs because that wakes you up more.
Yeah, it does.
So I love it. You can read as many books as you want. You can put them on hold. You can check them out. But I also do occasionally, I'll pay for like a month of Kindle Unlimited and do a sprint on there of a whole bunch of books.
Yeah.
They have a lot of books. It's what, $11 a month?
Yeah, like $11.99 or something. And yeah, it's and
they
great.
keep track of what you read for you and everything. And someone mentioned Goodreads. I do use Goodreads. I love Goodreads. They have you can make your want to read or your TBR list. And I'm going to show the thing I was talking about when you were saying, I thought that you, I did save it. There it is. So I make these on the computer, but I also keep track of them in my bullet journal. But at the end of each month, I make one of these and I rate my books and make a little graphic. And then, you can see I had my favorite one right here. So then like at the end of the year, I usually do my favorite from each month and I figure out what my favorite was of the year.
I like that. It's the March Madness of books.
I'm a nerd. So I generally read I have 3 favorite genres. I like psychological thrillers. I love horror. And then oddly enough and way different, I like cozy mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
I love a cozy mystery because you can get immersed in one character, one person's story, one small town, and everybody in it for like 20 books. And I don't have choice hangover. That's what I call it when I finish a book and I don't know what I want to read next. It's choice hangover.
Yeah.
decision fatigue. I call it choice hangover. But
well, yeah.
I love cozy mysteries because you can get immersed for an entire series.
So
but
it's just one character, just one storyline.
Yeah, excuse me. So the best example I can give you, although if you're familiar with the TV show and not the books, you're going to get the wrong idea. True Blood. The TV show is completely different than the books.
Okay, I didn't watch it, so.
Cozy mystery is very light on romance.
Mm-hmm.
There's no spicy. I hate spice. If I wanted to read erotica, I'd read erotica.
Right.
And that's fine if you do,
Right.
but I don't like it. So that's part of the reason I like cozy mysteries. And I don't really like the cheesy romance. So they'll have it, but it's light. Usually there's, it's a small town somewhere in America. And it's one main character and her life. And she's usually someone very ordinary, like a librarian or a journalist, that somehow every single book stumbles on a murdered body and somehow gets involved and then has to help solve the mystery. But there are some that are cops. There's some that are detectives. There's paranormal, like psychics that work with the FBI series. There's ghosts, all kinds of cool stuff. I love a cozy mystery.
Those sound like fun reads, like light reading, right?
Yeah, they're like 200 pages a book. I can read a series like of 20 books in a month because they're just page turners.
Yeah, those sound fun.
So tell us about your favorite genre.
Well, my favorite is apocalyptic. I like, I don't know, that and time travel. That's I'm into the science fiction. Well, science fiction. Okay, just science fiction. So I like the what is it? Apocalyptic. So there's some that, you know, these things that can happen. There's an EMP where they do a nuclear bomb in the atmosphere and it makes all the chips in our phones and cars and everything go, and power and all that goes. And then the society falls and everyone starts, like The Walking Dead, they start going into groups. But the stories are always someone is somewhere, like a girl's in college or this person went on a business trip and they're trying to make it back to their family. Every single, so the whole family story, but they go into the person at the college, the dad over here, and all these separate stories of them getting back to each other and trying to survive and people trying to harm them and how are they going to get transportation. It's just, they're really interesting. And I like the story of it because they're in a situation where they have to survive. Because if you look at my house, I'm in trouble in that regard. I just like reading it, you know.
Yeah, I would be the first one a zombie would pull down.
Right. I'd be like, just
wait for me.
I'm not prepared. Just whatever, take me. I'm gonna be miserable. But the time travel, see, that would solve the whole thing.
Yeah.
Time travel. But they go into different, one of them they went back into like colonial times, and some they can go to different ones, and there's like scientific experiments. There's all these different ones. They're really interesting, but I love the whole topic of like that there's a wormhole and they find out it's possible, and they're really fun and different effects it has on them.
And you mostly read indie authors.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Self-published.
Mm-hmm. And through Kindle Unlimited, there's a lot, and I feel like it's helping them. And
it is because they get paid per page.
Oh, great. Okay.
I think we were talking before this, guy. She was in my true crime party today. The book club I'm in on Facebook with all the indie horror authors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get paid. That's why they'll put them on there, because they get paid, and when they're up and coming, and it helps if you review them too, guys.
Yes.
So if you're reading indie or self-published or new authors on Kindle Unlimited, give them a review, or go on Goodreads and give them a review. It really helps their exposure when they're on Kindle. But yeah, they get paid, I think it's like half a penny or a penny per page. But if it's a 300-page book and 10 people read it, they've made $30. It's not a lot, but when you're not Stephen King, that actually is a lot.
Yeah, and you can talk to the authors too. There's one author, I love his books. He's Ryan Schow, Schow. And he wrote this book about AI and the supercomputer, and it ends up in a person. And it is so, it had me like, this person was so horrible. You just wanted her to get killed, but she would never be killed like Terminator. It was just, but it was so awesome. And I talked to him about that book. I'm like, I've read all your books. What do I do now? Does that person come back? You know, it's like, I know a book is really great when later you're like, I wonder what's going on with them, but they're not real, you know? But his books are like that, where I just wanted it to keep going. But these indie authors, you can just contact them on Facebook or their website and talk to them about it.
Yeah, and they're happy to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are really nice. Like, I only have experience with the horror ones in my Facebook group. It's called Books of Horror. If you are a horror fan, we have a lot of indie authors in there that are up and coming. And some of them, like, because they were in this group and they were on Kindle and people were reviewing them and talking to them and helping them, they're now like now they're mainstream.
Oh, that's cool.
They're like well known. They like went viral. One of them has a movie deal. So they're very happy to talk to you because it helps them.
Yeah.
And they're very nice people. And they always thank, like, whenever anyone in the group puts, like, we all make those graphics I showed you, like every month we share them. If they see one of their books in there, they will comment to you, even if they've never met you or don't know you, and they'll say, thank you for reading my book. They're
That's
just like,
great.
I like indie authors too, but I'm a big time mainstream reader.
Yeah.
Big time. I grew up on Stephen King and V.C. Andrews and R.L. Stein, Christopher Pike.
Ask if your authors, maybe the horror authors, I see them at Comic-Con, which out here is called Fan Fusion, you know, the comic book conventions. They have a lot of authors there, and they're smaller authors. I'm wondering, I see horror a lot, but a lot of science fiction. And I don't know if mine ever show up. But they have them in there, you know, pushing their book or selling their book. So
yeah, they go to those.
Yeah.
And there's I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but there's a horror. It's got a really catchy, cute name.
It's like
there's
a
convention for horror
mm-hmm.
books.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free, and it's in Indiana. And I was really mad that I couldn't go. I can't remember the name of it. It's so cute. But it's free to get in, and they have barbecue, and you can meet all the authors and all kinds of cool stuff.
It just reminds me. Have you seen? This is so silly. Troll 2.
Yes.
Okay, you know why I'm about to die. Okay. Well, they go to a horror con and they're trying to promote Troll 2, and it was just a disaster. And that's what made me think it's probably where those good books are, but not Troll 2. Maybe Comic-Con. So
I do know that you did get The Stand, even though it's mainstream.
I did.
Because it's really up your alley.
Yeah.
If you are open to reading 2 mainstream books, there's another one called Swan Song.
Okay.
By Robert R. McCannon. And he's actually, I mean, he's not an self-published or indie, but he's a very underrated, lesser-known author who came out writing the same time as King, and I think he got overshadowed. But people will always tell you The Stand and Swan Song are like the 2 bucket list books for everybody.
Robert McCammon.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. They're the bright green one.
I found it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an apocalyptic book, and it has 10 characters all over the country coming together, just like The Stand. So I would recommend both of those for sure, at least once in your life.
I'm going to read it.
I love all his books.
It's right up my alley.
And people compare it to The Stand all the time too. So
yeah, I saw Post-Apocalyptic Wasteland. It's like, yep.
It actually made me cry the first time I read it.
I
was only 13.
Oh.
So that's the book chat. I could talk books all day, but
yeah,
we should start a Facebook group.
Yeah, we could. Book group. It's all sci-fi, right? Horror is sci-fi, or no? That's different.
No, it's different.
I want it to be sci-fi.
Well, I see. Here's the thing. I love Star Wars, but I'll tell you all day long I hate sci-fi.
Well, Star Wars isn't. I like post-apocalyptic. Well, Yeah, Star Wars is different. Like space stuff is different. I don't get into the space stuff.
Yeah, like Doctor Who. That's space and time travel.
That's time travel. See, I like Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who.
The
All right,
80s.
I'm gonna ask you the one question I ask everybody, so you know it's coming, right?
I don't know.
Resellers tend to get a lot of slack. People look down on us. They call us sleazy and that we're stealing from the poor.
Oh.
What's your take on that?
My take is that I sell a lot of vintage, and I sell a lot of things that we remember from our youth. These people would not see these things unless I found them in a thrift store and offered them. I've had people thank me for selling this item. So it's like I'm finding these things. I mean, no one's going to survive on a Furby, you know. You don't need that, you know. I'm selling nostalgia to people, so I feel like I'm helping people. But also, most of these thrift stores are for charities, so we're in there spending money, and some stuff is marked pretty high, but the charity's getting that money, and they're things I don't think the poor people are needing for survival, like nostalgic toys.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good take on it.
Thank you.
So I'm really big on this channel about work-life balance, because you can't be all work and no play, and you can't fiddle fart around all the time either. You gotta find that good balance for good mental health. Because if you're not in a good place mentally, you're no good for your friends, your family, your pets, or anybody else.
That's true.
So I'm always preaching on this channel. You gotta find that balance. So I'm gonna ask you a question we've probably already answered. What do you do to unwind in your free time?
Do read. My husband and I will watch a series on TV. They're usually science fiction. That's what we do at night, since he's stopped working overtime all the time. It's like, so now the kids are gone and we'll watch a series. But when he worked more, I was reading a lot, and I do play video games, but it's more the ones on the phone. Yeah, it's mostly
Crystal plays with puppies.
Oh,
She got a weenie dog. She has a cute weenie dog named Sancho.
I know. He has an Instagram, everybody.
I know he does. I follow him. I've shown him on this channel.
Oh,
He did a weenie dog.
he's so cute. He's got all the energy that we want to bottle up and sell
What kind
it.
of video games do you play?
Oh, Facebook games. Just my daughter could not believe the level I was on Candy Crush, like 2000 something. But
That's funny.
yeah, like I'm playing a Farmville game and a merge game, just really dumb stuff. But
It's not
you know,
dumb
for a
if it makes
while,
you happy.
yeah, for a while I took him off because it was like taking a lot of
Addictive?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reading took place of that mostly, and I do a little bit of games. But my daughter loves animation. She's in college for animation, so we would be watching those movies a lot. And you think this is another thing, they're not kids movies. Like Paranorman has a very mature theme, like the moral of the story. You know, the little kid is not going to get it. But we end up watching a lot of old movies, animations, things like that. We're kind of very nerdy when it comes to old, like 50s, 30s, 40s movies.
So Keith plays video games a lot, and I read, and it's perfect because I spend a lot of time in my life, like other people saying I read too much. I'm sure you've heard that too, or people trying to pull you out of your book, and it's like I just want to read.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, on the other side of that coin, we all got to find people that accept us for who we are and don't nag, right? But you hear all the time that men or women that play video games, their partners constantly like, don't play so much. Well, we just balance each other out because we'll sit on the couch together with a bag of pretzels between us, and I read and he plays his games. And there's certain ones I play with him a couple times a week just to interact. And then we pick a series and we watch it, and then we pick another series and we watch it.
Yeah.
We're very
I'll be reading, and my husband likes to he studies different things that he gets set on. Now it's like the history of man practically. There's a lot of YouTube videos on this. So I'll be like, he knows I'm not into what I'm watching on TV. I'm reading, so he'll turn on because sometimes I'm like, I can't take this anymore.
Yeah.
It's so deep, and then someone's like, oh, that's interesting, but he likes to study very deep things, so he can do that when I'm reading. So it works.
Yeah. I just like to be able to read without somebody.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want?
Yeah, like just accept the fact that I'm always going to be in a book, and we'll get along. Like I said, when he's driving, I'm reading sometimes. I sit and read while I'm cooking dinner. If it's a good enough book and I don't want to put it down, every waking moment is spent on certain books when they're really good, right?
Sometimes I take the long route home from the college because it has really long lights. I'll just say that. Really long.
You do the audiobooks too.
Yeah.
See, now that's funny to me because I'm OCD, you're ADHD. You listen to audiobooks just fine and enjoy them. If I try to listen to an audiobook, I space out. I don't listen. I have no idea what's going on. I'm in my own thoughts. I'm somewhere else. I can't listen to those.
Sometimes I get that challenge, and then I have to rewind it, or I just have to switch to something else because, it's not going to happen. But usually I can get into that, and that's my escape.
I cannot. Even when we were in school and our teachers used to read to us, I just cannot. For some reason, I can't be read to. I space out, but I can listen to podcasts about murder.
Those are really interesting. Yeah. True crime.
Yes. Okay, so what are you doing this weekend?
Well, my birthday is tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Happy
birthday.
I'm a year older.
You're 33.
Thank you. Yes. I hear people in the house because we are going to my favorite pizza place to have pizza and wings. Because I was like, I don't even know. It's just whatever. So let's all eat our favorite food. We practically live on pizza. Did I say that? Yeah. So I know you're going to be like, cook good meals. So we're doing that. And then tomorrow, I think my husband and I are going out at night, but then I have adult kids that want to do stuff with me. So I think we're just celebrating my birthday. Normally we're working around the house and whatever, but this weekend's fun. Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah, everybody wish Jennifer a happy birthday. Eat good pizza, have fun.
I will. Yummy.
It's okay we eat a lot of pizza too for lunches and stuff. That's not healthy.
It's every day, so I can have pizza.
I usually eat a salad almost every day.
Yeah.
There's worse things to eat than pizza.
True.
There is. And I always tell people that about my reading habit too. I could be a drug addict, but listen, I'm addicted to books. It's a little bit cheaper, maybe not.
You could be eating a donut and bacon pizza taco or something. It would be worse. Think of all the ice cream.
An ice cream pizza.
That
would be pretty good though. Like a cookie, a big giant chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
Like ice cream.
Oh, they sell those in the restaurant.
They do. Is that Applebee's?
I don't know, but they'll have like the brownie or the cookie, and they'll have a lot of like Chili's kind of places, or Applebee's or steakhouses, stuff like that. They'll have them. But I was talking about my super pizza, taco with the donuts and the bacon a la mode. Maybe I'm going to stop right there.
I'm hungry.
Sorry. I'm going to go eat some pizza.
Dinner time here. I have chicken enchilada pasta.
Really?
Yes. Made in the crock pot.
It's getting better.
So it is, I'm not going to pull up the recipe, but it's certain seasonings you put in, just like taco seasonings, and chicken in the crock pot with a can of enchilada sauce and a can of green chilies. And then you cook it all day and you shred it with 2 forks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cook rotini noodles separate. You add those in and some sour cream if you want, and you let it cook for a little bit.
That sounds good.
I'm a very good cook, if I say so myself. I make good foods.
We're making Jay hungry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's dinner time at my house. It's 4:30. Well, not quite, but I'm hungry. We're gonna go eat like
here.
an hour.
So
Yeah, it's your dinner time.
it is dinner time here. All right. So Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you.
And everybody that came in and watched us live, I really appreciate you guys. Our time is very valuable, especially as self-employed people. So when you take your time out to come hang out with me and my guests every week, that means a lot to me. And if you're watching the replay, hi, thank you too. Hit the thumbs up, guys. It really helps me out in the algorithm. And in the description box, I forgot to tell you, Jennifer's Instagram and her Facebook are down there, and she's trying to get monetized on Facebook. So let's all go watch her reels on Facebook and help her get monetized.
And I'll start a YouTube. I mean, I have a little teeny one.
Yes, I didn't put that in, but you can find that on her Instagram, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody that's watching or watched. Happy Groundhog Day. Hi, Puxitani Phil. I love you. And Jennifer, thank you so much and happy birthday. And before we go, do you have any last words of wisdom for the people?
Oh, I didn't know I was going to do that. Have grace with yourself. You can get it all done, but overdoing it is not going to do you any favors. Use the to done list and just put it to the next day.
Perfect. All right, guys, go have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you take some time off work this weekend to find that balance and spend some time with your friends, your pets. Your pets are important. Your friends, pets, family, and your loved ones, and take a break, even if it's just to go for a walk. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.